All right, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning into the second episode of Carter Speaks Chargers. Today, I will be covering the Chargers versus Cowboys Week 16 game preview. All right, Chargers fans. Firstly, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about real quick how we can still win the AFC West. It's not off the table completely. We have still a small percentage of a chance to win the AFC West, and it's not that hard. It's not that complicated of a situation to win. So we have the Broncos sitting atop the AFC West, 12-2 currently. Us following right underneath at 10-4. Now, what do we need to happen for us to be able to take the West? You might ask. We are in must-win now mode. We need to win all three of our remaining games. That would put us at 13-4. The Broncos would then need to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. If they beat the Mahomes-less Chiefs, which I'm assuming they will, that'll put them at 13-3. Then that Los Angeles Chargers game, that Week 18 game, we need to come out with a dub. That likely will be the tiebreaker for the AFC West, and maybe even the 1 seed in the AFC. And I want to talk a little bit about how this season's trajectory has gone so far. We have the 32nd worst ranked offensive line in the NFL, and we are 10-4, looking to clinch a playoff spot this week. I think Jim Harbaugh deserves the utmost amount of credit. I think Justin Herbert deserves the utmost amount of credit. I think the defense deserves the utmost amount of credit, winning us these last two games with 2 picks in the final minutes of the game to win the game. I think us being able to clinch a game Week 16, or clinch a playoff spot Week 16, is pretty amazing and incredible about how bad of a season we've had, truly, with injuries and our offensive line problems and Justin's hand being broken, and we're still 10-4. I think we don't get enough credit from teams. I think people will just, overlook us, and I think come playoff time, I think we really will shock the world. I think we can go far in the playoffs. I believe in our defense. I believe in Justin Herbert. I believe in the run game, and I believe in Jim Harbaugh. Next, I wanted to kind of go over the injury report a little bit. What can we be looking forward to in this game? Who can we be looking for in this game to be playing on both sides? So, Keenan Allen, first of all. It's kind of a long list. Hopefully, most of it's just minor stuff. We see Keenan Allen here with the veteran rest. Did not practice. He'll be playing, bar an injury. Darius Davis ankle. That is something to be looking out for. He is our starting kick return and punt returner. So, obviously not having him is going to suck. But he's been dealing with an ankle injury since the last week in the Chiefs. He didn't play that game. So, hopefully he's looking to come back this week. Doesn't look too promising so far, but, it's early in the week, so we'll see come Friday. Another player I want to talk about is Quentin Johnston with his groin injury. Him getting a limited practice this week is pretty good because, him being out these last 3 weeks, I believe, has been really rough. I think we've had kind of a little bit of staleness on the offense. He's not our wide receiver 1 by any means, but he's still a great target for Justin to either move the chains or, get in the end zone. He's a great end zone target. I think he has 7 or 8 touchdowns on the season already. And I think he's leading the league, or not leading the league, sorry. I think he's leading the team in touchdowns. So him being out definitely stales our offense a little bit, but I think if we get him back this week, I think look forward for that Quentin Johnston return game this week. RJ Mickens' shoulder did not practice. I saw Jim Harbaugh make a comment about this, I think yesterday, saying that he's dealing with something pretty deep and he might miss adequate time more than just a week. So keep an eye out for RJ Mickens' shoulder. Trey Pipkins' ankle injury, limited practice. It's good seeing Trey Pipkins getting limited practices, especially because you look at who the backups are in Trevor Penning, Austin Deculus. It's not looking good and deep in depth over there. So having Trey Pipkins be out is pretty heart-shattering for our offense, surprisingly, seeing Trey Pipkins being the heart of our starting offense. I think Jamari Sawyer, with his resurgence these last 3 weeks, being at left tackle, and I want to say this right now, I was saying all season to put Jamari Sawyer at tackle. He was in tackle when Rashawn Slater got hurt last year. Why would we not put him there to begin with? Why would we have Austin Deculus, Trevor Penning, and Trey Pipkins be there when we know Jamari Sawyer is capable of doing it and holding down the fort, which he's proven. So I think if we get Trey Pipkins back and we can put him on the right side of the line, get some stuff moving, I think we can actually start building a decent, makeshift O-line for the playoffs. Tierra Tart with a shin injury, getting limited practices. This is a big one, actually. Kind of a sneaky big one. Probably arguably our best D lineman next to Jamar Caldwell and Deshaun Hand. But Tierra Tart, man, he's a very important player on that line. So if he doesn't play, that's going to be a big hit to us. But I think we'll be able to find ways around it. But let's hope he's able to get a couple more practices in this week and be able to play for us. All right, now on to the Cowboys. Darren Bland, one of their top cornerbacks with a do not practice early in the week is not a good sign for them. I think this is a really huge key player for them to be missing out on. CeeDee Lamb with an illness did not practice. He did not play last week, I believe. And if he doesn't play this week, that's going to be a huge blow to their offense because we've all seen how George Pickens goes about his routes and how lazy he is most of the time. So CeeDee Lamb being out is really not a good sign. Quinnen Williams with a concussion did not practice. I believe he will be out this game. I believe he got the concussion last week, so I think he will be out this game. Big blow for the Cowboys. Cowboys are more injured than us this week. Trayvon Diggs, he got benched the other day, but he's getting limited practices in, so I'm sure he'll be fine. Javonte Williams with a neck injury, limited practices. Jake Ferguson, full practice. But yeah, those are some of the big names in the Cowboys that we need to keep an eye out for if they play or not play, because those are going to be key pieces to the Cowboys' offense and defense if they don't play. This meme kind of encapsulates the entire offensive line and how bad it is. So I just want to go ahead and show you guys, Bradley Bozeman, 36 of 36 out of centers in the league. Trey Pipkins, 35 of 36 tackles in the league. Austin Deculus, 38 of 38. Mekhi Becton, 36 of 37 right guards in the NFL. Wow. I mean, I'm speechless. I don't understand how people can still look at Justin Herbert and say, what you're doing is not impressive, what you're doing is not MVP level, what you're doing is not MVP play worthy. I think it's complete BS. I think it's complete BS when you look at his offensive line. If you put any other quarterback in this situation, they are not thriving. We are not going 10-4. We're probably going 4-10. I think Justin Herbert has completely put the team on his back this year. Looking at this offensive line with his legs and his arm, I just think it's pretty hilarious looking at this meme, and people can still say, oh, well, Justin Herbert had a mid-game against the Chiefs and the Eagles. I wonder why. Go ahead and look at what he's dealing with. Please just give him the praise that he deserves. Next, this photo kind of shows the entire offense. This is a representation of the entire offense I wanted to talk about. The offense needs to get going. We have been so stale these last couple of weeks. It's been a hard watch as a Chargers fan watching our offense go out there and go 3 and out every week, pass for 5 yards, go 3 and out. I just think something needs to change, either play calls, personnel. It just needs to get. We need a better game plan going into this week. I think Week 16, Week 17, and Week 18, these are our 3 must-win games. These are the 3 most important games of our season, considering also that we have a chance to win the AFC West if we truly put our foot on the gas and a couple of things go right for us. I don't want to keep winning games off of our defense backs. 1 point, we're not going to be able to. We're going to have to drive on the field and score a touchdown, which we did see in the Chiefs game, that end of second half drive that we were able to score, in 3 plays. We were able to drive down the field in 3 plays and score a touchdown. So I want to see kind of more of that. I want to just see us drive. I want to see us, contain drives and sustain drives. Even if we just get field goals, let's sustain drives. Let's be able to get into field goal range rather than them punting away the ball and we get 5 yards and we have to punt it back. I just want to see a little bit more freshness from the offense and a little bit more liveliness. All right, this is probably the most important key to the game. First of all, our defense has been absolutely cooking these last 2 weeks. And actually, I should say since the bye. Since the bye, Jesse Minter has really turned it on go mode. We're in playoffs. We're in must-win now mode. He's been cooking up some of his best coverages and best personnel packages. But I think this game is going to be a real test. Dak Prescott, great quarterback, an MVP conversation currently. George Pickens, top 10 wide receiver in the league. CeeDee Lamb, if he plays, top 10 wide receiver in the league. It's gonna be a headache to deal with this defense. If we are able to get pressure on Dak, I think that puts us in a great place to succeed and win this game. I think getting pressure on any quarterback is a key in any game. Any quarterback under pressure is never going to play 100% amazing football. They're always going to make mistakes. Let's pressure them, and let's get our DB core out there and intercepting the ball. Next for this defense, I kind of want to talk about containing George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Now, CeeDee Lamb might not play, which would still be a huge blow, but they still have George Pickens, which is a huge weapon for them. They also have Javonte Williams on the ground, who had a resurgence of a year. He's had a monster year. Kind of fallen off a little bit, but he's still obviously a great player, we saw from the first couple of weeks. I think if this defense can contain George Pickens and Javonte Williams, I think we will win this game. I think if we get to Dak Prescott, contain George Pickens, contain Javonte Williams. Those are 3 keys for defense. I think a key piece I forgot to talk about is getting the run game going. Please, let's get Kamani Vidal and Amari Hampton touches early in this game, like how we saw in the Chiefs game last week. We saw them literally go, I think, 7 or 8 rushes back to back to back, and they couldn't stop it. Let's get the run established early, and then let's have Herbert kind of pick over the middle of the field. If we get this run game going early, I honestly think there's no way the Cowboys can beat us. I think we have too good of a quarterback and too good of running backs and too good of a defense to lose this game if we can get the run game early and establish the ground game. I think Amari Hampton is going to be a big key to win this game. I think Kamani Vidal is going to be a big key to win this game. Whichever running back gets more touches is going to be a key to win this game. All right, Chargers fans, thank you very much for tuning in to the second episode of Carter Speaks Chargers. That was the Week 16 game preview, Chargers versus Cowboys. Those were some of my key thoughts and game plans of how we can beat the Cowboys and keep the game out of the Cowboys' control. Let me know some of your own thoughts and game plans down below in the comments if you agreed. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed. Bolt up.